Hey everybody, it's Jason. Adventures of Jason and Julie. Miss Julie's not with us today, she's at work. I've got the day off and subsequently it's raining and storming and I've got a little time, so I'm gonna owe y'all a review of Millcreek OHV and Mulberry Mountain RV Resort, as well as we've had a couple questions coming in from people following along. First thing, if you're just stumbling on this mess, I'm Jason and Julie, and we're documenting our road to the Rockies. We leave August 22nd. We're going for 9 days out to ride the Alpine Loop, be a part of the Rockies. Taking MG, and then I built a DR650 we're taking as well. But this past weekend we went to Arkansas, to the Ozarks. And from Mississippi, it's about 500 miles up, 500 miles back. Had a really good trip. What made it even better was everything we encountered on that trip was awesome. So if you haven't been to Mulberry RV Resort, really nice place, really open. For those guys that pull campers, the entire weekend I monitored on and off, but the voltage was around 119 on Alpha leg and 121 on Bravo leg, and the place was packed. There was not an open spot left. It was Memorial Day weekend, so the voltage was good. We had steady water pressure, no issues whatsoever with the campground. They've got receptacles. The shower houses are phenomenal. They're nice, they're huge, they're clean. They've got 3 showers on both sides. They've got 3 receptacles on both sides. So obviously if you go in there at 8 o'clock in the afternoon, there's a line, but it moved good. Everybody's in good spirits. As far as the trails go, the trails were wet. It had rained for a day or 2 before we got there, so there was no dust. The trails were really nice. The trails are slick. They're kind of a red clay, slate rock kind of mix, very rocky trails, not boulders, just big rocks. My last post was basically a photo album and a short video of the top trails that we encountered. The first day we done 200 miles in 2 days. The first day we chased waterfalls. We seen 5 beautiful waterfalls. The second day we chased overlooks and found 5 or 6 just breathtaking overlooks of the Ozarks. Mulberry Mountain is on 23, which is subsequently known as the Pig Trail. I will tell you, it is very tight turns going in, seemed even tighter coming out. With a 36-foot rig and a dually, there's a couple switchbacks and hairpins, and it was slow going. It's about 15 miles north of I-40, and it's easy in, easy out kind of deal. All the trailhead, the main trailhead, you can catch right out of the campground. So you unload right there in the campground, your buggy's unloaded for the weekend. You ain't trailering, you ain't doing all that. The trails themselves, we concentrated mostly on the Blue Loop, West Fly Gap. We did end up over in Gravely and White Rock, and I'll get to that in a minute, how that happens. But to go down to the 60 foot and all that is the other side of 23. But some really good riding, really tight riding. Several times we would meet people head on. There's not enough room to pass, so you inadvertently end up backing up off into a drainage ditch or whatever so everybody can get by each other. But they're that tight. They're single lane trails. Very aggressive ascents and very aggressive descents. There are some spots that are just really steep. A lot of fun. But you gotta ride like you got some sense at the same time, because if you don't, you're gonna hit somebody, you're gonna meet somebody, and it's gonna be a bad day for everybody. We averaged for the weekend, our constant speed for the weekend was 8 miles per hour. So at times I was running 30. Most times I was running 4 to 6. Wow. So some really good trails, some really good riding. To the park rangers, Forester Service of the Millcreek OHV area and that area. man, my hat's off to you guys. Good job. Very, very good trail management. Very good locations for the pay boxes. Cost us $3 a day for me and Julie to ride MG all we wanted. They really have done a good job with what they're doing at this park. It's just my opinion, but if they would open about 3 more trails and take the red off of them, it would really just be unlimited riding. You really have to be careful. The red roads cost you $230, I think it is, if you get caught. So really good riding. You don't have to be on red roads, but if there's something you're looking for, something you just, you know, like us, we made a 500-mile trip up there just to ride for one weekend. You know, we made the decision, yeah, it's worth $230 if we get caught, but we want to go do that. We want to go see that or whatever. So we did it. But I think that administration could open 3 red trails as just a throughway and really ease that type of outlaw activity. And we wasn't the only ones. We followed one and passed 3. So I mean, we wasn't the only ones that made the decision that it was worth it. Maybe it's a revenue thing, I don't know, but you know, you do have to make that decision. You don't have to ride those roads. There is unlimited. We probably didn't ride 60% of the trails available. We did ride the entire Blue Loop. We did ride several, I think the Barrel cut through. Rode some really good off-roading, really good rock crawling. A lot of mud, but all the mud had rock bottom to it, so it wasn't like you riding in Mississippi mud. And it's going to rain. But the trail system itself, really good. Now, if you're going up here thinking it's wind rock, it's not. Those huge, obnoxious rock crawling rigs, I personally didn't see a one there. They won't fit on these trails. These trails are tight. MG, we slapped the light bar on every limb on the Ozarks, I believe. These trails are tight. There's some nice rock crawling, but it's four-wheeler and side-by-side. We didn't see the big Jeeps or the big trucks or none of that stuff. I'm sure there's a place that does that up there, but it wasn't where we were at. We were on both sides of 23. If you pull up Millcreek OHV, you can see all the trails that are available for riding. If you pull up the Ozarks National Forest, you go to the arkansas.gov page and work through their forestry maps. You can pull up the maps that give you the legal riding as well. But overall, just a great experience. Just a wonderful, wonderful experience. I'm gonna do the next video. So we've probably got close to 7 hours of GoPro video footage. Most people don't want to watch a video for 10 minutes, let alone on that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch all those videos together and then put them in high speed, just as so you can see the versatility of riding. Like I said, there's gravel roads, there's tight trails, there's ascents and descents and rock crawling. It's just a very, very good trail system. One thing I do want to caution, if you've got younger kids, I don't think I would turn a youngin' loose on a four-wheeler unless they were really experienced. We did see some 9, 10, 11-year-old kids on 500 Foremans, but you could also tell that they were accustomed to this life and that they were accustomed to riding. So, you know, I'm sure they didn't have no issues. This is not a trail system for a 5-year-old on a 50. I mean, there's some nasty parts of this trail. Seen a bunch of 4x4 RZRs, Talons, X3s. So if you got a 4-door, you got one of them big long stretched out limo rides, you're good. MG, I rode around 90% of the weekend in 2-wheel drive. The times I didn't need 4-wheel drive, I needed 4-wheel drive. So as far as trail system goes, if you haven't tried Millcreek. It's cool. Mulberry Mountain, that's where we'll stay. And keep in mind, all this stuff I'm telling you, all this stuff I'm going to show you, all this stuff we're talking about, ain't nobody pays me nothing. I can give you my honest opinion. You know, we ain't got to worry about hurt feelings and all that. So, Mulberry Mountain was $98 for 2 nights. Little steeper than places we've been before, but at the same time, you get what you pay for. I feel like it was worth it. The value was there. No, they've got a dump. They've got a sewer, a pump out, a drain, but no live hookup. So you've got to use your tank. But they've got a wonderful bathhouse establishment, and that's where we did our business and took our showers. And a couple times in the middle of the night that we did have to use the RV, as you're leaving, they've got a very nice dump station. You pull in, hook your hose up, clean out. But one thing to keep in mind is, you know, you got to take that into account. If you don't read the reservations verbatim, you go there thinking it's full hookup, and it's not. It's 75% hookup. So as far as nobody goes to the mountains to watch TV, but we did free range the antenna, and I think we picked up 9 channels, so we was able to watch the news at night, watch the weather for tomorrow, see what kind of riding we had going on. But other than that, no negatives. Everybody we ran into people out of Oklahoma, we ran into people out of Texas, we ran into people out of Kansas, we ran into people out of Tennessee, Arkansas, Illinois. Everybody we run into was good people. So everybody we ran into was just great people. Just a good bunch of people with open arm type mentality. We helped people set up their camper. We had people ask us if we needed anything. Everybody cooking out. I mean, it was just a great time. Night riding is allowed on these trails. It was just a great time, and I have nothing negative to say about Mulberry Mountain or the Ozarks Trail System. If you want some kind of reference between Millcreek and Windrock, the only reference I can give you is it's as exciting with half the frustration. We've been to Windrock several times. We love Windrock, but Windrock, I want to touch on that too. 2 days riding. The sacket we've got on the back of the buggy, we only picked up half a bag of trash off the trails. Now, I don't get down in the ditches and up in the woods and all that. These trails are really clean, really clean. So good job to the guys out there that are packing it in, and more importantly, packing it out. Found a few beer cans, Cokes, Cheez-It wrappers, candy bar wrappers, crap like that. I honestly feel like the stuff we found on the trails fell off of buggies or out of buggies. There was only one area where you could tell it was blatantly just throw it on the ground. They stopped there beside a creek, ate lunch, threw their crap all over the ground, got back in their buggy, and enjoyed their day. Ain't got a whole lot for that. One of the fastest ways we're going to lose this hobby is idiots like that. I said it. It's my opinion. It's where I'm at with it. You know, you can do all this, crawl out and eat lunch. The least you can do is put it back in the bag, throw it back in your cooler, and take it back home with you to the nearest trash receptacle. You got to throw it out on the ground. It's going to be the fastest way we lose the right to do what we do on these things. All that being said, I've got a couple questions. Man, it is coming down. So one of the questions we get is MG. How do we keep MG looking so good after the ride? I wished I had some mythical, magical chemical that I could give you, but I don't. On the outside, I use Lucas. use Lucas on my hot rods, so we've always got plenty of it laying around here. I've used SC1. I've done all the tricks of the trade, and this right here works just as good as anything else because I keep it in supply for my hot rods. It's always laying around. It's what I use. The great thing about Lucas, you spray it on, wipe it off. That's it. And you hit it with water. 2 months later, you hit it with water, and it'll beat up and just, if there's mud, water, whatever, it just rolls right off. So, like I said, I don't make a dime off nobody, but that's what we use. Now, I know you're gonna call me crazy, but on the bottom, underneath, we use Pam cooking spray. That's right. I buy a can of Pam cooking spray before every ride. When we unload out of the trailer, I spray this thing down, every square inch of it with Pam cooking spray. It is the best I have found to release red clay, black mud, you name it. The rubber comes clean, all your CV joint boots come clean, radiator hoses. Pam cooking spray. Yes, for the first hour, your buggy smells like burning butter, but after that, when you hit it with water, 3-4 days later, it's just going to melt right off. It's by far one of the best products we've ever used, and it's cheap. Pick it up at any place that sells food or cooking supplies. You pick up Pam cooking spray. There you go. Another question, beadlock rims. Doing great. So we're running 15-inch System 4 bronze beadlocks. They're the, I believe they're 7 inches wide all the way around. Running 1.5 inch spacers on the back. But with the 32-inch carnivores, we run 8 pounds of pressure all weekend. I aired them down to 8 pounds from 11. And we run 8 pounds all weekend, no issues, no nothing. Road grade, handled everything we could throw at it, and aired them back up as I was loading it back up. Steve asked about the ramps. Steve, so for those of you who've seen the physics video, these are the ramps. What I wanted to show Steve asked me where I got it. So Steve, if you can see that, now Eastwood is best known for their car restoration tools and products and all that. Once you remove the ramp, then you can strap the wheel down on just a pedestal and you're done. I'll have you know, I love these. This thing right here weighs about, I don't know, 5-6 pounds. And I didn't cut it no slack. Once we got it loaded up, I put a 5,000 pound ratchet shaft across it. And I cranked it down just like I would if it was on the floor, if it was on a trailer, whatever. I cranked it down just like I would anything else. I ain't gonna cut it no slack. If it's gonna fail, I want it to fail. So strapped it down. We went 500 up, 500 back, and it never moved. Had a little bit of distorting right here on the front from the ring on the E-Track. But as you can see, this thing, the integrity and the structure, this right here, it don't matter. You can cut that piece out. I mean, it ain't gonna work. Man. So, really dig the Eastwoods. I was going to put a piece of metal across the front to keep it from distorting, but that was when I thought maybe the integrity might be compromised. But this little lip right here is the only thing that got warped. The rest of it is fine. So not even gonna mess with it. Gonna use it as is. They're 3,600 pounds. The whole buggy don't weigh but 1,700, so they're fine. All right, guys, another question I had was on the 15-inch trailer tires that we put on Physics. Hands down, probably the best $800 and some we've spent on that rig, and that includes the whole house filtration system that we put on the rig to do away with the little filters. The 14s, when you was pulling fully loaded and you'd go into a hard curve, I could watch in the mirror as those 14s kind of folded under the trailer. As you'd hit whoops on the interstate, the tires would literally flatten out and pancake. It's like the rim wanted to just sit down on the ground. I drove every mile waiting for a blowout. It was like it was imminent, you know, like not if, but when. So put these 15s on it, headed out, and after about 100 miles, 125 miles, I watched the mirror and looked at it. I honestly forgot it was back there. The trailer pulled better. All the body roll went away. Any swaying, you could hit the whoops, and the tires were just, it was like they just hardly any give at all. The E-rated, plus adding the additional 1,200 or 1,600 pound load capacity on those 15s versus those 14s, hands down the right call. The trailer pulls like it should, it feels like it should. You can tell that there is no strain whatsoever on that trailer with this buggy in the back of it at 70 miles an hour. And that was another thing, at 70, when you would hit a whoop-de-woo on those 14s, you could just tell they did not like it. 15s, I set the cruise at 70, run 70 pretty much the entire 500 miles up there, and the trailer just, it felt better. That's the only way I know to explain it. It didn't have no wiggle, no kind of give to it. All of that was in the 14-inch tires. That they were just breaking down under the weight of everything we had going. So definitely got those tires again. If you go back and watch the Physics video, you can see what I'm talking about. That changing to them 15, 100%. right call. Alright, next question. You're right, I have not followed up. So we've got an iPad mount in the Talon. It's a RAM. Worked really good. Only once or twice did it come out of adjustment, and I believe that's honestly from where I hit something and Julie's hand hit it or whatever. It holds great, it does great. We run a 9.7 Pro iPad, which is the maximum of the bracket, and even at that weight with rock crawling, I launched it 3 or 4 times completely airborne off a couple fire trail cutouts. It done really well, so I highly recommend the RAM mount with the iPad saddle if that's what you're looking for. And if you go back and look at the accessories video, you can see we've got it mounted on Miss Julie's side by the handlebars so she can do all her stuff. With that being said, y'all are wearing me out over this on-X off-road bit, so I'm gonna put that to bed, or I'm gonna try to. The reason we run on-X off-road and we don't run the trail maps, the lifetime trails, is we have in our possession 3 iPads. 2 of them probably don't have 2 hours worth of use on them. I did not see the advantage of buying a Samsung tablet. Now, Lifetime Trails is not available for iPad. So, got 3 iPads. Why would I spend another $1,000 for another tablet that's just gonna lay around the house? So, with having those 3 iPads, all of them 9.7 Pros, we set the rig up, the truck up, Double D up, with everything set up for the iPads. That's just what we use. If Lifetime Trails comes out with Apple, I'll be the first idiot to jump on board. But until they do, we're just gonna run what you brung. So with the Apple, we run Onyx Off-Road. With that being said, y'all are right. I'm just saying it. Y'all are right. Onyx Off-Road. And if there's anybody from Onyx Off-Road watching this video, let me just say this. Y'all got a good app. You do. Man, y'all need to put the work in. Several times we found ourselves on a green trail. Well, when you cross-referenced it with Maptiva, you found out you was on an illegal trail, which is $230. Onyx Off-Road doesn't give you the trail numbers. It doesn't give you trail capability, difficulty. It doesn't. It gives you some great things. Y'all have got a great app. It's like you just quit. Love being able to do the waypoints, put in pictures so we know where we're headed, or there's something we want to go back, return to. We can also, it gives you the coordinates that you can forward off to somebody and they can put it on theirs and then get directions to it. The biggest problem I've got is there's just a lot left to be desired. So we ended up abandoning Onyx Off-Road and going to Maptiva. The problem with Maptiva, it's really hard to read. I will tell you, Onyx Off-Road was consistently within, let's say, 3 foot of the buggy the entire weekend. It was right there. Even at speed, the speed stayed within 2 miles an hour, even at 60 miles an hour of my dash speedometer. I love the accuracy of Onyx Off-Road. I love the fact that it does show you the trails. It does show you, you know, if we're coming up and it shows you there's a split, there's a split. The problem I've got is all the trails are green, every one of them. See, you get 5 miles down an illegal red road and there's an honest game warden just doing his job. That joker's gonna give you a ticket for $230. And he don't care that that app says that's a green road. It's your job as an off-road enthusiast to know you're riding where you're supposed to be riding. So, Maptiva was great at identifying legal and illegal roads for MG. The problem with Maptiva is it's really hard to follow. Even zoomed in, it's really hard to follow and it was really inaccurate. So it stayed within 300 or 400 yards of the buggy, but it wasn't true tracking. We'd stop, get out, get something to drink, and it would take the blue dot 5 minutes to catch the buggy. As where Onyx Off-Road, so Julie ended up opening 2 pages and jumping back and forth. We used Onyx for navigation and all that. We used Maptiva for legal riding. It's just the way it is. Now, I know everybody, y'all are waving these flags and everybody stands on the rock of lifetime trails and all that. I get that. But just for us right now, I ain't gonna, you know, I spend enough money doing this. I ain't gonna drop another $1,000 on another tablet that's just gonna lay around the house, except on rides. So that's where we're at. Onyx Off-Road, if you guys are listening, holler at me. There's thousands of us that would help you make this app a little bit better. Trail names, rideability, you know, do some cross-referencing. You know, I don't know. Go to the competitor. I don't know. I'm just saying. There was at least 3 times when Julie tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, we can't ride here." And that was after I'd been steadily getting after it for 5-6 miles. So, you know, if Onyx would do just a little bit more legwork, and there's thousands of us out here that would help you. I mean, we're there every weekend. We could work out something where we could help you get this app to be what it needs to be. But, so, I think, Brian, I think that's your name. That's why we use Onyx instead of Lifetime. It just comes down to accessibility, and I'm just not there yet. Now, maybe you get lucky and this lightning storm will knock out all 3 of my iPads and and then I got an excuse to go get one of them there Samsung tablets. We can change over. Be all right. All right, guys. Last question, and you're going to see this. You're going to see this on this video, okay? The next post I do, which hopefully ain't but a couple days. I'm gonna start working on it today and tomorrow. Try to get it up here in a couple days. But when I stitch all these videos together, my review of the new Hero 9 we got, man. So first of all, I got some negatives. It'll drop connectivity to your phone with every breath. Man, it was rough. Every time she'd put it on a selfie stick and run it up out the window, bloop, it dropped connectivity. And a lot of it's the case. Now the wrist button on the Hero 9 done really good. So she actually went to using that because it wouldn't drop connectivity. But when she was trying to use just her phone to control the camera, it was really aggravating for her. But that being said, man, you talk about the difference between a Volkswagen and a Porsche. So I use a Hero 4. That's what I mount in the center up there, and that's what I do most of my trails with, is the Hero 4. The reason I use the Hero 4 in that location, it's no longer supported by GoPro. So long story short, I've got it plugged up on a charger to where I can just hit it, let it bump, and I put a 256 gig in it, and I record a lot. But it won't connect to the phone no more. It won't auto drop to the files. It won't do none of that no more. It's no longer supported by GoPro. I can't even update it. So all it can be used for now is a GoPro camera or a camera. You know, now we've got Hero 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Miss Julie wanted to upgrade to a Hero 9 for her doings. Man, if y'all are not familiar, when you check out this video that I'm going to do next, the difference in stability. So the Hero 4, you get the shake, you get the wiggle, you get all that. Man, that 9, I don't care what you do. It's as steady as this picture right here. So all the whoop-de-woos and all the curves and everything, it's just, the frame never moves, it never wiggles, it ain't got a bunch of jarring going on. It's really nice. She can drop stuff to her phone. You get back at night, she can auto sync it to the laptop, move all the files off the digital card while we take a shower or whatever. I mean, it's really nice. The only negative I have of the 9, it gets really hot. Battery life is not what I would expect. Even my old ragged Hero 4, the batteries last longer than the 9. And it's new, so it might be a setting issue, you know. I don't know, we're working through that. But you're gonna see in this stitched video, you're gonna see one video, it's a great video, but you can tell that there's some shimmy and shake going on. That's the Hero 4. Then you're gonna see a video that's crystal clear, it's balanced, it never moves. In all actuality, the camera was doing this the whole time, but the picture frame is just perfect. So I really like the 9, and I believe for the Colorado trip, I'm going to end up mounting a disc on the hood for the 9 to ride on, just because of the stability factor. Alright guys, I believe that about wraps it up. Those of you that are asking questions, being interactive, thank you. Miss Julie gets a real kick out of it. She tracks it daily. She's got it hooked to her phone, so if you ask her something, she usually gets back to you pretty quick. For those of you that are asking questions to me directly, it takes a little bit longer because she's got to get a hold of me, and then she'll reply. I very seldom have time. That's what she does. That's her thing. She loves it. If you're just clicking on this, hang out with us, hit like, subscribe, follow along. This thing's going to end up on the Rocky Mountains here sometime in August. So hang out with us, hang on. Until next time, always enjoy the ride.